I love sausage. I know I talk about this all the time, but it just adds such class to any dish. It's really tasty. You can really, you can do a lot of things with it. It's almost like bacon in that it makes everything better. You just have to make sure it's cooked correctly. You don't want to overcook sausage because then it gets kind of dried out and chewy. And obviously you don't want to undercook it because it's dangerous to eat. We watched Chopped a lot on Food Network, and yesterday there was a guy who undercooked his bacon. And then he had the gall to blame the bacon, to say it was the bacon's fault that it was undercooked. Just totally stupid, because you can make any bacon, the cheapest bacon in the world, you can still make it crispy and correct. So, and it doesn't even take that much. But he just did a stupid thing. He took the bacon, he chopped it up, he stuck it in the already simmering meat, and expected it to get crispy with all that water around it. I kind of think he'd never actually cooked bacon before, and he's just trying to pretend he knew what he was doing. I don't know. He was an idiot. He got chopped. He laughed. Good times were had by all. So I won't spoil the Scott Pilgrim movie for you guys. I hope most of you have already seen it. If you haven't, go watch it. It's so funny. Even if you don't know the comic books or the story, it's a really great. It's just great in general. It's coming along. Oh, it smells wonderful. If you want, you can also add more wine. Oops. Don't break anything. I always break stuff. I get yelled at a lot. So, toss your carrots in. And just keep the vegetables going. Right now it should just be onions and carrots. I wanted to use mushrooms, but my pack of mushrooms have been in the fridge a little too long and wouldn't have worked out. So, I had to say goodbye to my mushrooms. And of course, I was at the grocery store today and buy new ones because I thought the ones I had were still going to be good, and they were. It's okay. I don't want you guys to think I don't have any friends to help me with these vegetables. I just thought it would be easier if I did it myself for you guys. Otherwise, you know, it'd be so many people walking and talking and chopping vegetables. I have done it where I had friends over and we did this all together, the Scott Pilgrim style. So good. So much fun. So the next thing you're going to chop, obviously, is a stick of celery. I have more than one stick just because I had some celery that I wanted to use up. So, that's that. Keep on chopping. Keep an eye on your vegetables, keep an eye on your sausage. The sausage is brown all the way through, you can take it off the heat, and if you are in a predicament like I am, you can switch your sausage with your vegetables. I'm going to do right now, carefully. That's a heat-proof counter, folks, don't worry. You put the heat on low for your sausage, just to keep it warm. We're going to drain it before we stick it in with the vegetables, but the vegetables have to be cooked first. And now that they're on the proper burner, that should go much better. So, alright, chopping the celery. If you have long pieces of celery like this, either break them in half or cut them in half. If the end of your celery is dried out, throw it away. And chop until you find good celery. Celery's been in the fridge for a while too. I'm not very good about using my vegetables on time. I think I've talked about this before. I always have old veggies in the fridge. But it works out. I mean, as long as they still taste good, they're being cooked anyway. They kind of don't need to be the freshest ingredient if they're vegetables, because they're being cooked. And since you're cooking them, they're softening up as it is. They're taking on the flavors of the things you're cooking with. Not to say that you should use, like, obviously, like, not moldy or anything, but yeah, old veggies don't kill you. I'm just advocating not wasting things, guys. You can get fresh veggies, get them. But if you can't, use what you've got, and don't tell anybody. No otherwise. So, yum yum. Alright, you can add a little more wine if things are starting to dry out. You can also add a little water. We're going to be adding gravy a bit, the gravy mix, so we are going to need some water for the gravy to mix into. You can turn it down a little and just let things steam. That's the easiest way to get carrots nice and soft. Sorry, I had to get my top. So yeah, turn it down a bit, let things steam. And we've got our sausage cooking, we've got our potatoes almost boiling, we've got our red wine for drinking for later, and we have our vegetables steaming. So right now this is our break point, and I'll be back with you once the potatoes have boiled. Welcome back everyone. While we were gone, our potatoes finished boiling and our vegetables are soft and ready to go. So to start, we're going to make our mashed potato mixture. Mashed potatoes in shepherd's pie, they go on both the top and the bottom. They act as kind of the crust when you bake it in the oven. Right now for our shepherd's pie, we're just going to make it up. I'm not actually going to eat it tonight. We're going to have something else for dinner. So we're just going to stick this in the fridge and we'll have it later. The best part about shepherd's pie is that it really can last for a good long while. What you see me doing right now is just breaking the potatoes into smaller pieces. We're going to use an electric mixer to make our mashed potatoes. We don't want flying potato chunks. We want it to make it easy on ourselves. You can use a knife, you can use a fork. I just prefer a knife because I've got a lot of potatoes to cut up and it's just easier this way. Just be careful, of course, but yeah. This is how I do it. I should probably rename this show Oriana Being Really Scary in the Kitchen. But hey, I make good food. This is why Greg doesn't watch me cook that often, because I freak him out too. I haven't cut myself yet though. I did burn myself on the baking grease. Okay, potatoes are in manageable pieces. I'm going to take out what you all know is my very favorite utensil, which is my electric mixer. First we're going to add the milk. You can just kind of eyeball it for this. Same with the butter. Use about half a stick. The recipe does give you the correct measurements in the book, so if you want the correct measurements, buy the book. Ooh. Well, that didn't really work out. Oh well. If you want more butter, of course, you can use a whole stick. It's not going to kill you. Well, actually it might. Butter's really fattening and bad for you. Did you all know that? I just found that out. I don't really care though. I use as much butter as I am allowed to. I'll worry about health later. Okay, so mashed potatoes are mixed. We added some garlic salt and some seasoning salt in there while I was mixing. They're a tiny bit liquidy compared to how they normally are, but you know, that's alright. I'll deal. So now we've got our vegetables and we've got our meat. Vegetables smell amazing. Just, right away. We're going to scoop our meat out. You don't want a lot of the meat juice to get in with the vegetables, just because there's already so much good flavor in the meat that'll leak in when you're done, when you bake it all together. And sometimes the grease, if you get too much grease in there, it turns white and clotty and weird when you put it in the refrigerator. And that's one of the best things like I said about shepherd's pie, is that you can put it in the fridge and just leave it sometimes, and it'll last for a good 2 weeks. You can microwave it, you can put it back in the oven, you can, it's really good. It's nice that way. Scooping out our meat. We're going to turn up the heat again just a little bit. We're going to add a little bit of liquid so that we can put our gravy seasoning in there. Okay. For meat. Oops. Oh man. I'm really messy today, guys. I'm sorry. Spatula. So turn up the heat again. Not too high, medium heat. Because everything's already cooked, you just want things to kind of melt together a little bit. And add the gravy seasoning and some water. Get the gravy seasoning out. Hey, it was right in the front of the pantry. How useful is that? I'm going to add some water. Just a little bit of water, just enough to make everything kind of saucy. About a half a cup. You can get gravy packet. You can also make your own gravy. It's actually not that hard. I like to use a gravy packet for this recipe because That way you end up with, you don't have too much sauce, because it's really good when it's like mostly the meat and the vegetables and just a little bit of sauce.